So hello, everybody. Welcome to our meeting this month. My name is Katie Sharp. I am the chair of the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition. I am also the communications manager at the Bremerton Housing Authority. And I couldn't do what I do without the executive team, with the help of Bridget Glasspool from Kitsap Mental Health Services, the vice chair, with support from Madison Tuttle as our note taker and our co-host today from Kitsap Homes of Compassion. And then I also have help from Leif Wagner for the website, and Carl Borg from Kitsap County, Eric Harrell from the Salvation Army, Katie Knudsen from the HEN program, and Allie Moyer from the Housing Solutions Center. And as we all may recall, and if you haven't been here before, our meetings are recorded and broadcasted by Marwan Cameron of Gather Together, Grow Together, and The Conduit. So you can find it all on his streaming platforms. We also try to share the recording in our newsletter. So if you haven't signed up for our mailing list, please do. Those links can be found on the website. And my last little introduction here is I like to make sure we're all reminded of our vision, mission, and values. Our vision is every person in our community has a safe, decent, stable, and appropriate home. Our mission is the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition provides leadership to end homelessness through planning, coordination among social service providers, advocacy, and education. And the coalition strives to carry out our mission with respect, commitment, compassion, integrity, and a willingness to change. And just to go over the agenda a little bit, we're going to start with the Pacific Building, and Helen from the Kitsap Rescue Mission is here to talk all about that. And then the Housing Solutions Center. I don't think Allie's here today, but staff from the Housing Solutions Center are going to talk about resources. And then we'll end with our updates. So if you have an update from your agency or your team or you personally, please feel free to stay on and share that out. And if you can't stay on for the whole meeting, you're always welcome to share that in the chat with your contact information. This is a place for sharing for everyone. So we want to make sure to make that place accessible. So I'm going to stop sharing now. Helen, are you ready?
I am ready. Hi, everyone. My name is Helen, and I am the program director at the Kitsap Rescue Mission. And I'm very, very excited to be able to share with you all the great things that are happening at the mission. So let me share my screen real quick. Okay. And so today, just to let you know, we're all located at 4459 Southeast Mile Hill Drive in Port Orchard. So we are a congregate shelter. We have a pet center. We have the care team. The care team actually comes in and does all the pets. Anyways, I'll talk about that here in a minute. So the care team comes in. We also have PCHS is here. They're here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we have pods. So we're in a congregate shelter, so we have pods. So we have a women's pod, we have a men's pod. We also have a family pod, a couples pod. And so they're all separated, but under one roof. Okay. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about our KRM staff. They're amazing, absolutely amazing. We have 6 shelter support individuals, and we're planning on getting more. We have 2 case managers, Carol and Jeff. And Jeff also does housing with our housing navigator, Destiny. And so amazing people. They're fountains of information, and they're just amazing people. They care, they have compassion, and they really do a great job for the mission and for all the unhoused people that are here. We have a mental health provider. We also have an SUDP person, substance abuse professional, and we have food services. We have food services director, and we have a food services assistant. And so I want to talk a little bit about the criteria of the unhoused individuals, how to get into shelter. So an unhoused individual will actually, their first step is to go to the Housing Solution Center. And there they'll fill out applications. And then from that point on, they're put on a wait list. And once they come up on that wait list, then they will have a background check, which Jeff Sanders does. And once they pass that background check, there's certain criteria that we don't allow in shelter. They can't have a history of assaults 1, 2, and 3. They can't not be convicted of a sex offense. They have if they have documented arson, they are not allowed into shelter, or if they've had a documented rape, violent crime conviction, or history of assaultive behavior, or with the shelter prior to this. And their barriers are such that their medical needs or behavioral health needs are beyond our scope. So those are some things that we do not allow into shelter. Once they pass that background check, Carol, our case manager and intake specialist there, she'll go through and she'll set up a date with them to come in. If they have a pet, they will first be assessed by CARE. And so CARE will make sure that that pet is suitable for our shelter. And if not, they'll try to work with them to be able to have that pet in, because most of the pets, they have not been they haven't been in any type of cages or anything like that, or around a bunch of people. So it's really important for CARE to assess them to make sure they're appropriate fit for our shelter. So they come in, they have an intake. So they come in, they fill out some forms. A lot of them are guest agreements, ROIs, a 90-day, and we'll talk about that 90-day 30 policy. Mounds of paperwork actually. And so they'll come in and fill that out. And then once that's completed, they'll be issued a bed or a kennel for their pet, and then a badge. But let's go. So then we also have a 30-day policy. And what that is when they come in, they'll sign this policy stating that they're here in shelter for 90 days. During those first 90 days, we help them to make sure that they overcome certain barriers. And those barriers might be they don't have a Social Security card, they don't have a birth certificate, they have some medical needs that they have to take care of. And also they have a housing stability plan that they must see their case manager once a month. And during that housing stability plan, there's 3 goals that they would like to accomplish during their month. And so they do all those kinds of things. They provide all their information, their medical information, all their prescription drugs. They provide all of that to shelter. And so once they're in, during that 90-day policy, they try to overcome all those barriers with the help of shelter staff. Once that 90 days is up, then they can file for an extension, and that extension is for another 30 days. So all of staff get together during, like on a Tuesday, we triage everybody who has an extension. And those extension requests come directly from the guest, and they're asked certain questions, especially what specific action steps have you taken to have gainful employment? So they write their answer on that. What's the specific actions have you taken to find permanent housing? Have you met regularly with your KRM case managers? Are you requesting an additional 30 days? Or why are you requesting 30 days in shelter? And what are your continued barriers? And what would additional 30 days in shelter help you to accomplish? So what they do is they fill all this form out. And then we have 7 people around the table, and we sit and we visit about that individual who has an extension. And we determine, what are their barriers? Are they working hard to reach their barriers? The majority of time, yes. Do they need more time? Do they need 30 more days to get their Social Security disability, to apply for it, to get their other documents needed to be able to be successful in the community and find housing? So those are the things that we visit about during that 30-day extension and that triage. Some people choose not to, and so not to go forward. So we give them 10 days to leave shelter. But we don't ever want to release people into homelessness. And so we really, really work hard to make sure that they overcome their barriers. And that's our number one really goal, is to make sure that everybody is successful. During their stay here, we set them up with access, paratransit. We provide laundry cards to them if they need laundry. We provide transportation to the laundry facilities. We provide ORCA cards. And so we really, really try to help them succeed and give them all the tools that are needed. We also have security 24/7. So and so that's really important too. So when the individual comes in, and we're going to talk about the Mission Tracker platform, we have, our platform is called Mission Tracker. And so when an individual comes into shelter, say the very first, they have two totes of their belongings. And so that individual is searched, with wanded, I might add, just wanded, and then their belongings, make sure that they fit in two totes. And so they come into shelter, they will be issued a badge, and that badge looks somewhat like this, and it's got a barcode on it. And so what they'll do is they'll check in. There's a computer right at their front desk. They'll check in, and it'll show that they have checked into shelter. When that individual leaves, they do the same thing. They check out and make sure that they're checked out. And so that becomes very, very important, because staff will know who is in shelter at any given time. So if somebody calls up and says, hey, I won't be here, we'll at least document that and know that they won't be here. We also have a curfew. The curfew is from 10 o'clock at night until 7 in the morning. So unless they're working or there's an emergency, those are our curfew times. And so they'll come in, they'll check in, we'll know who's in shelter and who's not. During the Mission Tracker, we also have, that's where all their personal information is. They have a profile, and that profile will show what their medical needs are, all the documentation, what their goals are. So it has all their documents in there. When EMS comes, if for some reason emergency services comes, and the first thing they're given is a medical responder report, and that report comes off of Mission Tracker, our platform, and so that will tell everything that's on there. So when they go to meals, the same thing. They'll come to meals, they'll check in with their badges, and that'll count the meals. And that even includes the children. And so mom and dad will check in all the children, so we'll know exactly how many meals. So last June, we had 2,505 meals served, and 450 of those meals were served to children. And so how we come up with that number is through this Mission Tracker. And so I'm going to share my screen a couple more times here. And so can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yeah. So right now in shelter, this is Mission Tracker. This is our reports. And so right now in shelter today, as of today, we have 16 men, 20 women, eight boys, 9 girls, and 2 transgender adults. That brings us up to 55. Last month, we had a total of 71. So what happens is, people are housed, and they're successfully housed. And so we're always going up and always going down as far as our numbers go. And so, but that was Mission Tracker. And then we also have a daily report that I'm going to share. Oops, let me see. Sorry about that.
No apologies. I think we're all very engaged. This is very interesting. Thank you, Helen.
And so this is our meal count. And so this is why Mission Tracker is so important, because like today, as far as today, we have served 71 meals. And so we'll know exactly, we're feeding a lot of people. Also, we also have, like in our in our, let's see if I get this in there. So this is for actually for the month of July. So far, at one point, we had 61 individuals, and since then, some people have left. These are the numbers. We have 7 under, and it'll exactly tell you what is happening, females with children. And so it's really, really important for us to have those numbers because it helps us better serve our guests and what we need to do in the shelter in order to provide the best quality that we have. And so, yeah, so that's kind of what we got going on here. And it's a lot. And I know it's kind of, I said a lot of stuff, but yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing place. The staff is amazing. And yeah, we couldn't hope for better. Jeff and Carol, is there anything you think that I had forgotten or you want to visit about?
Well, I just put it in the chat. I just looked at the numbers real quick. As of January 25, we house roughly about 28 people permanently housed, not returning back to homelessness. And then within the next 2 weeks or so, we have 12 individuals scheduled to move out into permanent housing.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and that's success. That's success. Yeah.
And Carol has scheduled and is in the process of scheduling tons of new people in. We're constantly pulling people in, trying to get them connected over to our wraparound services. And it's just amazing here. Carol?
I think one of the greatest things about this is that although we have a team that supports them, we are helping them help themselves. And for a number of the people that are getting ready that have one foot out the door now, they actually went out and advocated for themselves. And they did this. They got themselves into housing. So it's just amazing what can be done when you are offering that support, but yet helping them to be independent so that they don't get out there and fail.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions?
If anybody has questions, feel free to raise your hand. There's Martita. She's our example. Martita, you can speak.
Thank you. Sorry, my camera is off. I was driving. So my question is, what did you do when you have a Spanish-speaking or person who speaks a dialect, like mom, to support them, like with the application to communicate with them?
Yeah, Carol and Jeff, how do you guys do that?
So for instance, I'll give an example. If they've got an appointment at DSHS and they feel like they can't advocate for themselves, I will contact their case manager or their caseworker down at DSHS or wherever and let them know that they need a translator. I also work really hard to try to understand if they have like second English as their second language. I work really hard to try to develop a language between the two of us so that in the event that they have to meet with someone and they don't have the translator, that I can help them to understand exactly what it is that they're meaning when they're trying to say something.
We also have individuals that have immigration status issues, not going into all that, but we do work with Kayak and a couple other organizations, some of them in Seattle, individuals that, need some documentation to move forward. So we work diligently with the other outside organizations to try and connect the dots, connect the services to the folks.
Okay, thank you. So if you have someone that doesn't speak non-English to communicate with you, so do you use the language line? Do you have access to language line or just try to figure out how to connect with them?
So we've actually not had anybody come into shelter that we could not communicate with. So we haven't come across that.
Okay. Wow. Yes. Any forms that you have or the application or any, if you don't, you cannot communicate with them, any language do you have at the shelter for you guys to communicate or resources? That I know the kayak, but someone that you can reach out. I mean, basic, I'd be happy to, brainstorm with you guys. And I
great.
know representing the Kisa Public Health District, sometimes I had that need. I had called the shelter, and this was a rescue mission, right?
Mhm.
Just to provide information and everything about the person. So if you have, yes, I'll be happy to talk to any of you and see how we can support as well. Okay.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
And I would like to see, if possible, I would love to also present about the Kisa Public Health District parent-child health. And for you to have that information in the shelter. I know I had dropped off some brochures. Carol gave me a tour, but I'll be happy to present in these meetings for everybody to know more what we do at the health department as well.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. And can I add just one more thing real quick? So all
Yes.
applicants are coming through KCR. That is the intake, the coordinated entry. If an individual is coming in that speaks a different language, then we're going to be notified from KCR before we even talk to the person. We know where they're from, what language they speak, and we know the dynamics of the individual that we're working with. So KCR is the coordinated entry for us, and they notify us of what's going on.
Yes, that's the first procedure. Yes, I'm aware of that. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And yes, I'll be sharing some resources with all of you guys, updated resources. Okay. Thank you for answering the question.
Julie?
Hi, can you guys hear me okay?
Mhm.
I just wanted to say I literally just toured the Kitsap Rescue Mission new facility last week, and it's a beautiful site, but what's even more beautiful is the people that work there. They care so much about the people that are there. You can just tell by their attitudes and their kindness. And so I just wanted to share that out, that it's just a really neat place. So I needed them all to get a shout out.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Of course.
If anybody has other questions, there we go. Thomas.
Yeah, not so much a question. I also just want to give some recognition to the team there. Carol, Helen, Jeff, the whole team just has been really amazing with coordinated entry. In particular, they've been really great at getting us feedback so we can improve the process. And another good thing has been they've been really helping, for me especially, opening up into the world of pet care and helping us collaborate with CARES. So just, awesome work. I've seen, from beginning to end there that what they've been doing, and it's amazing. If you haven't seen the facility, maybe connect with Helen to check it out. But really, really happy with the work that they do and the feedback that they've given us through HSC. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
I have a question. So have you met capacity yet? Like, have you had any issues with capacity?
So we had 71 people. Our capacity is 75. So last month we had 71. So what's happening is, because the average length of stay really is about 48 days. And so what's happening is beds get filled up and then people find housing. So it's this roller coaster of beds here, they're empty, then they're filled. And so so we haven't had problems, but it's just, and that's a good thing because people are finding housing. And so they're not here for very long. This is just a stepping stone. And so it's really great to know that those are success stories. And some nights we might be up and some days we're going to be down, but that's because of the success of the guests getting housing.
Eric?
Hi, yeah. Hello, everybody, and thank you, Rescue Mission. I drove by you yesterday and waved, but you didn't see me. I had a car full of McDonald's for my grandson. But I was wondering what you do with COVID people now. Do you have a place to isolate?
So we do, and that plan is in collaboration with the Housing Solutions Center and Thomas, because we now it's just the hotel motel vouchers is what we're using. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what we had been doing as well, and my hotel motel funds are completely expended, so I'm not able to do that right now. Thomas, is that something, if we had a COVID person, that you would consider doing for us as well?
Absolutely. Though with a caveat, we're in a similar situation for hotel funding. In fact, I'm having to probably make some really hard decisions next week on cutting our overall count. But yes, we reserve hotel for anyone who is unable to shelter. So typically that's individuals with disabilities or fleeing DV with knowledge of shelter, or they can't go into the shelter because there's not a possibility for isolation.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Judy had a comment. Judy, did you want to get on the line if you can? Judy Ray, sorry. Judy Ray. She just states that did KRM say they have 20 empty beds with 12 more leaving, which is 32 empty beds. Again, this might be answered by the capacity question, but how many people are waiting in to process in? When will the 75 beds be full? So it sounds like nobody's waiting, or is it just a process?
It's a process. You know, there are people on the wait list and we're getting them in, but we're getting them in just as fast as we're helping them get housing. And so again, as I just said, sometimes, we are full, like 71, we're full, but then the next week, 20 of them left. And so it's this up and down. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing that it's up and down.
Sounds like a great thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate all you're doing. Have you seen a lot of positive changes from moving from the temporary space of the Quality Inn to this more permanent space?
Oh my gosh, you have no idea. Oh my gosh, you have no idea how happy we are to be here. There are 150% changes. I mean, it's nothing like it was there. I mean, we have a beautiful dining area now. We have a chef. They can cook indoors. When we were at the Quality Inn, they had to cook outside.
Oh,
had to
wow.
cook outside underneath. And people, the guests are more engaged because at the Quality Inn, they had their own hotel rooms. And so they would never come out, they would isolate. It was really difficult for them to come to see case managers because they were just stuck in that room. Now they're more engaged because we see them all the time. They're happier and they get really more resources because of this model. And so thank you for asking that question. Yeah.
So it sounds like the congregate shelter piece is really important for services, but as well as maybe in the other side of it, having a community spaces where people want to be around each other.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we have lots and lots of volunteers that come in. They volunteer. We have, people come in and do haircuts. They volunteer. We had like 3 salons come in and do free haircuts. We have that. And so we have lots going on in the community. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And their attitude and their depression is limited, because there is so much going on. And, because we have those huge wraparound services, we had 14, we used to have 14 EMS calls, in a day. Now we have 0 to 1. And it's because of those wraparound services is that the EMS is not called hardly ever, unless it's dire need. And so the services are used less because of our model. So it's saving the taxpayer money. And so it's just amazing.
Do you know how many residents you have that are local to Port Orchard or that travel from other areas? Like Bremerton, I know there was always a consideration, like Quality Inns in Bremerton, but in Port Orchard, there was no shelter. So, of course, I was just curious about the demographics and the location.
I mean, so I don't think it's made a difference, honestly. Yeah, I just don't think it's made a difference. You know, we're right on the bus line here. If anybody has issues, if they can't catch a bus, we either drive them, we transport them, or we send them in a taxi. So they're all able, if they have something going on in Bremerton, they're able to get there because we make that happen for them. Yeah.
That sounds great. Like, yeah, some of those barriers that everybody, you know, was concerned about, sounds like you're really covering down on making sure the services are available when they need them.
Well, we know, we sure hope so, you know, and if we're not, man, we find a way to do it because that's what we do. And, you know, this is a really, really, really hard job, but staff works really, really, really hard and they're really, really good at it. And so their troubleshooting are amazing, just totally amazing.
I don't see any other questions, but one last question for me. It's a technical question. So if there's other like continuous stay shelters or other types of shelters around our county, if they were to use something like Mission Tracker or something, is there any other softwares that communicate together that there's some sharing, or is it very specific to what you're doing? I'm just curious for future kind of building out systems.
Yes. Well, I can tell you that, and that's a good question because I can tell you that Mission Tracker is specific to us.
Mm-hmm.
We've never shared anything, but I'm actually going to Seattle in September with the director and the operation manager of Mission Tracker, and I will ask him that question. Yeah, I will ask him that question to see if that's something that can happen. Yeah.
Because as we know, like, this is a difficult situation to be in the first place, and first you go to KCR and then you go fill out more forms and then you're asked a lot of questions. So how can we support each other as we go through the continuum of housing in Kitsap?
Right.
So,
yep, absolutely.
It's great to hear about all you're doing and like how you're incorporating technology, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing. It's a beautiful place.
Well, thank you. And it looks like Martita has a question.
And I just wanted to add for her to have this information. I put my information in the chat. I can send, if you have a pregnant mama, really, you know, in the shelter, and it really helps having resources. Thank you so much for this meeting. But I placed my information in the chat with one of the flyers, brochures, but I can send you electronically a referral form. You have a mama who has baby or is pregnant, please don't hesitate to contact me, and then you can send that information referral form. I can send you an email. Would you mind sending me an email? That way I can attach all that information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, and we don't send referrals via email because HIPAA confidentiality. We want to really respect the confidentiality of the clients or referrals. So you can send us through secure fax, which is in the referral form. So I'll be happy to send you that, Helen.
Okay,
that's
perfect.
My contact information there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. I'll put that in the chat. Yep.
Yes, thank you. And we have Mama Moves postpartum support group also, who is this coming Friday at 11 o'clock. So we are on Instagram as well with Mama Moves. So I can explain everything in there in the chat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for the space.
Yeah,
you bet. You bet.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Helen and Jeff. And who was with you, Jeff? Who was with you, Jeff?
It's Carol.
Well, thank you all for coming. I hope you can join us more often and can provide updates for how the shelter is going. And also a lot of service providers come here to talk about different services, just like Martita is offering. So feel free to jump into these meetings and also connect with anybody here. We're happy that, you know, this systems approach is working. And I'm sure a lot of people will be reaching out to ask more questions.
All right, great. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Helen. I think we'll transition to the Housing Solution Center. We talked a little bit about coordinated entry and Housing Solution Center and how Kitsap Rescue Mission is utilizing that. But we're talking about resources. So who is here from Housing Solution Center?
It's I. So unfortunately, you get me instead of Allie today. My hope was to present on our updated online resource webpage, essentially. We're still in process. So unfortunately, I don't have any bells and whistles that I can show off in a screen share here today. But just want to remind and update everyone, we're going to maintain having our paper resource guide, but we're also, in addition to that, trying to build out online website for that. We work closely with Olympic College nursing department. They had a bunch of nursing students who went through for kind of a capstone project. So we worked very closely with them for looking at the South Kitsap area in particular and navigating resources in that area. So as per normal, please, if there's any resources that you know of that are not on that guide, or you need to update resources from your organization, you can send those updates to Jessica Martin or Allie Moyer, and she'll forward it to Jessica Martin. But we're also going to have an online space for everyone to see. I'm really excited for this. Based off of the project that they did, they solicited feedback and gathered qualitative data through interviews and through engagements with organizations, as well as unhoused individuals. And what we found was there was a bias against cell phones. I think most of us went into this thinking that unhoused individuals don't have phones. Turns out the majority do, and we can help them with the resources for that in KCR and other orgs too. And so a QR code essentially in postings. The feedback that we got from most South Kitsap residents was, we don't know where resources are, or we're unaware that there was a shelter or who coordinated entry is. And so we're just trying to become more visible. With that, I think this is a good place to share too, as of really today, but yesterday, we finalized on a new form of rental assistance through the city of Port Orchard. And so I'm probably going to regret this later, but I urge you all to flood us in South Kitsap if there's anyone who may be eligible for rental assistance. Now, it is only for residents of Port Orchard, so it's a little bit limited. So if they're in like Golal, or if they're in South Kitsap, it has to be Port Orchard proper. And it's assistance up to $2,000 for rental assistance for individuals who are 50% or below AMI. If you know anyone struggling, please send them our way. Our strategy with this is we are trying to lean into this heavily and spend it as quickly as possible. So that way it's not an administrative burden, and then we can ask for more. There's no guarantee we'll get more, but we've been trying to make the case to City of Port Orchard that that there is a need. It's not really seen or documented. And so that's probably the big news for us at KCR. And then my hope is that next meeting here, I can give you a nice flashy PowerPoint or some screen share so you can see our online resources. And that's what we're working on. We're also hiring a bunch of people. So as of today, for FCS caseload waiting list, we had 10 in our waiting list. So we're really excited for that. And we're still hiring one more case manager. So hopefully it will be an easier time capacity-wise for any individuals who are going through coordinated entry, to where they're going to be anchored with a case manager after that. So it's just an easier time on the client communication-wise going forward. And that's what we're working on. Happy to answer any questions or take down any notes for questions I can follow up with Allie for the team here.
Thank you, Thomas. There's 44 people on the call. I don't know if everybody knows who you are. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, I should do that. So for those that don't know, my name is Thomas Del Corpellino. So I'm the Director of Housing, Property, and Veterans Programming for Kitsap Community Resources. So I am Allie's director, Allie Moyer, and she's our housing manager who runs our HSC and our supportive housing programs.
Thank you. And it looks like Marlon's asking for you maybe to type your contact information in the chat.
Will do.
Any questions for HSC or about KCR housing programs?
I do. Thomas, my name is Julie Schwampy, and I actually work at Olympic College as a basic needs navigator. And I heard you mention one thing that I know that I'm struggling with here, working with students that are coming out of any interpersonal violence relationships, is getting out. So you had mentioned support for any domestic violence, like getting a hotel voucher. How does that, in an emergency situation, when a student is saying, I'm done, I'm ready, who am I contacting? Because I've had several instances where the Y they've tried to call and they're just not getting, and that's a really tough situation to be in when you're not getting the support. So just how does someone go about navigating that system?
Yeah, so I'll share my contact here in the chat. I will also share the contact for our Housing Solutions Center supervisor. So
Wonderful.
another
Okay.
big change we did is I gave more supervisors to Allie. So she
Okay.
has more support for this very large apparatus that she runs.
Sure.
And so I'll share with you Amber Carter's information. She would be the supervisor for Housing Solutions Center. It
Okay.
is our hope that you can just simply direct people to Housing Solutions Center, and
Yeah.
then we take it from there.
Okay.
You know, sometimes we'll connect them up with Real Team. Sometimes we'll connect them up directly with the hospital, potentially, depending on their situation.
Sure.
And then we also are the coordinated entry for the DV shelters. And so we'll be
Okay.
able to have up-to-date knowledge on beds and what's
Okay.
available, as well as do the footwork on trying to get them connected up with DV resources. We'll also
Wonderful.
do our best to assign them one of our KCR case managers if they're
Okay.
interested, as
Okay.
client-led. So that way they can have a buddy to talk to, essentially,
Yeah,
as they can
absolutely.
navigate through other orgs too as well.
Okay. And sorry, last question. With that, do they need to come in during your walk-in hours? Can they just come in whenever, depending on the situation?
Yeah, so our walk-in hours are Monday through Friday. They can come in whenever during walk-in
Okay.
hours,
Okay.
especially if it's a DV or if it's a high-risk case,
Sure.
then we prioritize for them.
Okay.
If it's a non-high-risk case, then there's a possibility they could come in and we're overbooked and we're full.
Sure. Okay.
In which case, we would have given them an appointment within the next day.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much, Thomas.
Of course.
I might speak for
What
everybody
other-
here, but it's music to our ears to hear that HSC is trying to be that. We just want you to be able to know, like, help people and just direct them to HSC, and HSC can handle it. So we're excited. I mean, we know that's a lot of work too, and that transition, but to even have that goal, very much appreciated from our coordinated entry. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
coordinated
Yeah, we
entry.
want an easy time. If our clients are coming in, they're already doing one of the hardest decisions of their life and having a really difficult time, right? So we want to try to make this as smooth as possible.
Amazing. So yeah, make sure to put your contact information in. Martita, you got a question?
I just would like to hear if with the new administration and the new changes with funding, how these I know are going to be affecting our immigrant community. What steps or policies and position do you have in place to support clients that have barriers and they have immigration issues? So yes, and regarding on funding and your programs.
Yeah, that is a very, very tricky question. To answer this best, I think, you know, it's everyone is clearly aware, right? There are challenges going on with current administration, so I don't need to review those. For our part in KCR, you know, we are committed to our community, and so we are, as a leadership team right now, we're being very reflective as to how we're collecting data and how we're navigating that side of our industry. And so, you know, I'm probably going to talk between some lines here, and then it's not going to sound like too much, but we're trying to be intentional with how we're collecting data and how we're sharing data. And that is not lost on us, the level of stress, distress, fear, concern that our clients have for that. And so we are trying our best to remain compliant and tiptoe around that. HMIS is the main system we use for our database, and there is some level of share that's within that, but it's contained. And then our internal database that we use to track was just us. So we don't share that, and we require releases of information for any of our clients wanting to share that information. And if they don't have it, we don't share it. So hope that maybe answers things a little bit. On the funding side and the eviction prevention side, we have positive news from Commerce. So we were awarded for CHG grant. So we anticipate continuing with eviction prevention efforts, continuing with rapid rehousing efforts. We do anticipate continuing that. We are still experiencing delays. So that is certainly impacting our operations, and we're trying to do what we can to be transparent and communicative to our community on those delays. So that way everyone is aligned and on the same page and understands some of what I feel is a pretty historically exceptional moment for the social sector.
Thank you, Thomas. And I will again, Kayak has the July 31st, Know Your Rights meeting. Agencies, people can go to Kayak. I know that I'm representing Kitsap Public Health District. I wear many different hats, but yes, encouraging, because again, our clients, will benefit if you know more about what's going on for all the agencies who are here. Kayak has a Know Your Rights meeting via Zoom, and you can stop by Kayak on the 31st. I can put, Thomas, you have also information for Annika, right? Yes. So for everybody, so I can put that in the chat. This would be really good for agencies to take this training. And again, you can do it via Zoom if you can't go there. So really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And while you mention it too, I think it's worth noting, we love Kayak, and we actually work pretty closely with them for eviction prevention efforts too. So we're trying to lean on other organizations who might be able to directly access clients, and then we don't need to be involved with every case in every direction. So that's a partnership that we adore and we love. So thank you for bringing that forward.
Thank you so much, Thomas, for coming here, and I'm sure Allie will be excited to catch up with you, and we're excited to hear more about the resource website. So appreciate you and everyone at KCR.
Yes, and inform your Port Orchard people and your clients. Let them know that there's a new grant. It's not the best thing since sliced bread, but I mean, $2,000 to assist with anyone who's fallen behind on anything can be a life changer. So please also let your people know that.
Thank you
so much.
City of Port Orchard. So yes, let's use the money that we've been given. So.
Thank you.
The next updates are just from the county, just the standing updates now. And so anybody from the county here want to share? Let's see Carl online today. I see Eric might have or an update, one or the other. That it works.
Hey, Katie, give me about 5 minutes. I'm just arriving at the Pacific building.
Okay, perfect. We'll be here. Eric?
Okay.
Yeah, hi. Hey, have we heard from Joe Crane or the new shelter consortium as to their when they told us last month that they're going to be having a town hall, discuss the new location in July, this July. Have we heard anything from that?
I have an update. I don't know if anybody here has, but
Hey, do you want me to answer that?
yeah, sure.
They are going to reschedule it for July 29th. That was the last word, and I'm sure that one will hold.
Carl, do you know, is it a specific location already that they're going to do, or is it just
yeah, there's the village center up on Sheridan area.
Okay.
So the announcement should be coming out in the next week or so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, county-wise, we're our CGAP funding, the applications are in. We're going through those now. We'll do risk assessments, and then we will do the awarding later. We're waiting right now to get our grant review committee put together. We'll get them trained, and then we'll have all those interviews coming up in August. We're doing contracts now. The grant from Commerce was months delayed, so that's where the delay came from. So we're getting ours in as fast as we can right now. So funding should be coming out soon.
Yeah, it's exciting to see that those coordinated grants came out kind of similar time this year, and that it's still moving forward. So glad to see that is all happening. Thank you, Carl. And Carl's referencing, I think, the coordinated grant application through the county. And if anybody has specific dates they have questions on or what, I feel like it's this week, Carl, that everything's coming due, right?
Everything was due on the 15th at noon.
So yesterday.
it's
So
not-
hopefully everybody
not
got it all
closed.
in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else, Carl?
Nope, I have to go to the Pacific Building. They've got a leak somewhere, so I get to go figure that out.
That's right. We gotta help Helen. Any updates from agencies? Anybody want to share anything? If you do, you can put it in the chat. You can raise your hand. But that's the last part of our meeting. So anybody have any updates? Eric has an update.
Yeah, I did put it in the chat, but we have had a Puget Sound Warm Home Energy Fund grant for quite a while now, actually probably since COVID. And that has just gone away at the end of this month. So I'm not going to be able to help people walking in for PSE assistance until probably the winter. Most likely they're going to start it again, because previously it was kind of a seasonal thing, and it was supposed to help people with the high cost of utilities during the winter periods. And I believe they're probably ending up going back to that. So with regard to us, please don't refer anyone over to us for PSE help until I'm able to let you know that we can do that again. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Garrett?
Thanks. First, I just want to thank KHHC for the venue. We just adopted our comprehensive plan at the City of Bremerton last month. And I know that on your website, you had links to our comp plan for a number of years. So thank you for our helping us with outreach with that process. I'm here today to talk about opportunity to comment at the Planning Commission. I'm going to pop into the chat here. On Monday for the Planning Commission, they're going to be considering a number of housing types, permanent supportive housing, transitional housing, indoor emergency shelters, and indoor emergency housing. So this is consistent with RCW from the state that says that anywhere where residential is allowed, transitional housing and permanent supportive housing will be allowed, and anywhere where hotels are allowed, indoor emergency shelters and indoor emergency housing shall be allowed. So we're incorporating that into our code, fairly verbatim from the state. I just wanted to do some outreach if anyone's interested in joining the Planning Commission this coming Monday and providing some testimony. I have a link to the packet in the chat. I also have my contact information. If anyone has any questions about what that process would look like, I'm happy to talk through it.
Thank you, Garrett.
Mhm.
It looks like Naomi might have an update. Would you have the opportunity to speak?
Do have the opportunity to speak. So I run the opioid response partners meetings for Kitsap County, at least the ones that KPHD hosts. Other people also talk about opioids. I don't the lion's share of that. But every quarter we have a meeting that is voted, the topic is voted on by the participants of the previous meeting. And folks for this meeting wanted to talk about team building. So if you want to learn about cross-agency team building and partnership, There will be a summer camp theme. I am attempting to secure s'mores. It will also be very educational and informative. But it's a fantastic 2.5 hours. I know some folks on this call have attended this meeting, and I believe had a good time. And so I would love to have folks join me on August 19th, 10 a.m. in the Norm Dix Government Center. If you email me, I can send you the RSVP link, so I make sure that there's enough s'mores and or other snacks for you if I can't secure s'mores themselves.
That sounds amazing, Naomi. Thank you. Way to make it fun. And, team building keeps us engaged. And it's a difficult topic, so that's exciting to have at summer camp. Anna?
There's somebody ahead of me who has an update on Coffee Oasis who doesn't know how to raise their hand. It's in the chat.
I'm following along the chat. Okay. Well, we have Sherry Rains. She had an update from Housing Resources Bainbridge.
Rachel de Jesus. De Jesus.
Rachel, if you'd like to speak, you have the floor.
Thanks, Katie.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So the Coffee Oasis does a back to school bash every year. This year we're hosting it at Kiwanis Park in Bremerton. Each location is hosting their own at a park in their geographic location. Ours is Kiwanis. It is August 22nd. It is Friday. It is open to the public. Specifically, though, we do a shoe drive for youth in our demographic 13 to 25. As long as they come in and fill out a slip and turn it in themselves in person, they can get a free pair of shoes. But the event itself is open to everyone in the community. It is from 6 to 9. We also have opened it up to community partners if they'd like to host a booth or a table. This is at no cost. They just have to come either, with a table, canopy, chairs of their own, and their own media. I put the setup time inside of the chat. If you'd like to reach out to me, I will also link my email address. This is specifically for Bremerton. If you're in a different geographic location and you would like to host a booth or a table at Poulsbo in Port Orchard or otherwise, please let me know. That's my update. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Anna.
Okay, thanks. So a couple of things. One, I wanted to hark back to what Garrett Jackson was saying about the Planning Commission. And I hope that people can show up for this meeting because people have a stigma about those who don't have a roof over their head or are in any kind of mental or behavioral health crisis. So this is a wonderful thing that the legislature did, was to spread out housing in many more areas, and if anybody can go and testify on behalf of people who are just people going through tough times, it would be helpful. But then I have another comment on my own, which is I had an affordable housing forum with KCR, with Tony Ives and Jill Stanton and John Domboski, who used to be HUD and now is Department of Commerce. And it was just a really quick overview of the continuum of care. And people were really engaged and wanted to know more, specifically things like, hey, when I meet a homeless person, how can I give her or them or he advice? How can I be of use here? So I am trying to drum up support for, in September or October, having a larger affordable housing forum at City Hall. So if anybody'd like to contact me about that, put my address in the chat. And if we can't get City Hall, I'll find a bar.
I also know, Anna, like the county has kept several resources in the past. I believe they had the coalition logo on it as partner resource, but we have not updated them. That's why we're so thankful for HSC taking on the resource guide. But also it's this one pamphlet I'm thinking of is like, what do I do if someone is homeless? What do I, what kind of resources or steps are there? And I think that was updated last in 2019, but Thomas, I don't know if Thomas is still here. I know those resources exist. There's just a few of them, but you know, the county has some of that information as well, Anna, and then the KCR, I think, are great resources to at least start that, because I agree. What is the first step, right? If you want to help, if you see somebody on the street, what is the first step? So roundtables are amazing, but know that the county and the KCR have great probably advice on how to start that as well.
Yeah, this was also just, you know, how government is monolithic to most people. Like the government is doing this, and well, the affordable housing world is equally monolithic to most people. So to sort of break it apart and say, it was really helpful to the community to go, well, we do this because state funding wants us to do this. And we do this because federal funding requires, you know, just to go, we're not all in little tiny pieces because we like to be in silos. So that's all. I just want to put that out there. And of course, when I have like a date and a place and the kind of things you guys like, I'll share that with you. Sorry,
Thank you so much. Thomas?
Firstly, thank you just for recognizing for HSC for kind of that initial kind of coordination piece. I just wanted to add, you know, we also have an outreach team too. So for the question of, you know, where do you start with someone, it's going to be different as for every individual, of course. You know, and everyone's going to be at different levels as to, you know, whether or not they need help getting to the HSC or otherwise. But our outreach team can go to them too as well. So we have our heart team that goes to encampments, and then we have another team that focuses specifically on like treatment centers and outplacement. But if you know, if you can't direct someone to the HSC, call us, call Amber, call the HSC, and then we can also try to get to them too as well.
You guys come in Bremerton?
Yeah. All of Kitsap County. So one big push that I've really tried to do since my time in role is we evaluated our needs assessment, and we found that we're overwhelmingly serving Bremerton population, which is, you know, it's normal. Everyone's living here, but we're really trying to be accessible in multiple sites. So we have our Bremerton site location that they can come to, but our outreach team will go anywhere in Kitsap County. So we know that there's, you know, some encampments get out into the woods, they'll hike to wherever they need to get to. And so as long as it's in Kitsap County, we can head to them.
Amber's going to get a lot of calls. Thank you, Thomas.
I'm going to go warn her after this, actually, but that's good. We want that, right? We want to wrap around our community and get them in front of our partners sooner than later. So that's overwhelm us.
Because it's complicated, right? And so HSC is trying to simplify that, and we appreciate that. Sherry, did you want to speak up? I just noticed you had an update. Sherry Rains with Housing Resources Clean.
Oh, sure. I just wanted to share that we're doing the groundbreaking for our new rental housing building. It's the work's just started, so nothing too exciting to see, but if anyone's in the area, we'd love to have you.
Thank you. And all the information is in the chat.
Perfect.
Michelle from Kitsap Transit.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Thank you.
Great. So I shared in the chat, but I wanted to let everyone know that I appreciate the people who have responded to the survey. Katie, you had added that to a newsletter, I think, a couple months ago. We didn't get a whole lot of response, so we've left it open. So I put the link. We'd love your feedback just to help us better serve the community. So if you have any questions, I'll go ahead and put my contact info in there as well.
And since it's still open, Michelle, I will add it to the next newsletter too.
Great. Thank you so much.
Madison?
Yeah, I'll just share that for Kitsap Homes of Compassion, our recovery housing still has openings. Our regular waitlist is closed, but the recovery housing is open. We did get an influx of applications at some local resource fairs, so the wait might be a little longer as we process those, but I feel like it's always worth applying. So I'm going to put the application link in the chat. It's just khhc.home/apply. Super easy application. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Thank you so much. And the last update I see right now is from Annika.
Oh, let's see. I have a camera. Hi, just wanted to let you all know if what Martita mentioned, if you are curious about what you can do if you encounter if ICE officials, Immigration and Customs Enforcement folks are interacting with a community member and you want to ensure that that is done in the proper way, you can attend a training. They're offered virtually once per month with the Washington Immigrant Solidarity Network, and we're going to do a watch party at Kayak on July 31st for the next one. So I dropped the link in chat for July 31st, and then I'll also put it in, Anna, for the August training if you are unable to make it in July but want to attend. I also have a question for the group with the passage of the rent stabilization bill. I'm curious if anyone is doing outreach in any particular way with tenants and particularly in mobile home communities. We're interested in working on that, but want to know if there's others working on it to partner up. So if you are, I will put my email in the chat and would love to know any outreach that's happening about tenants' rights under the new rent stabilization bill.
Thank you, Annika. And Madison, it looks like you have a question from Janae in the chat.
Yeah, the prerequisites for recovery housing, it's $600 a month for a shared room with Wi-Fi and utilities. People need to be in active recovery and have a recovery plan. I'll put my email in the chat and we can get together, but that's kind of the basics for everyone who's listening. But yeah, I'll put my email in, and if anyone's interested, just send me an email and we can get together and jam about recovery housing.
Thank you. Is there any other questions, updates? Sounds like another great meeting this month. All right, I'm going to close this one out. But again, if you have any questions, always email us, admin@kitsapphhc.org. Visit our website. Make sure to get on our mailing list because our Zoom link changes every week. And we'll send the most recent updates in that mailing. So, well, email. So appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining and sharing out, and appreciate our presenters from Kitsap Rescue Mission and KCR. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.